GM. So this is a really scuffed and one-take video that will explain how anybody can propose a referendum to void spends that are set to happen in the future. Now, a quick clarification. This guide is for voiding spends that are set to happen on Asset Hub. So that includes USDT, USDC on Asset Hub, and DOT on Asset Hub. Now, it might be kind of confusing to understand when is it DOT being spent on Asset Hub or is it on the Relay Chain, so hopefully this helps. When it is Treasury spend, like you can see here, just assume that it's on Asset Hub, right? Because it very much likely is. In this case, this is the Snowbridge referendum, and you can see it's all Treasury spends, and there's DOT and USDC mixed in there. This guide does not explain how to cancel scheduled Treasury spend local referenda, which would spend DOT on the Relay Chain. You will see on Subsquare this called Treasury spend local instead of Treasury spend, and if it's wrapped up in like a batch call, you can like expand it and see here method spend local. So we're going to focus on this one on the left today, and I'll probably make a video in the future about how to cancel scheduled payments on the Relay Chain. So we're going to use the Snowbridge referendum as an example. Now, I do not think that we should cancel the Snowbridge payments, but it's the one that came to mind. So we'll go over how you can cancel these payments. Now, there's one way to do this that's easier. I'm going to show you like the way that I remembered how to do this, and then the way that I found how to make it easier, but I think both are kind of worth understanding. So you can see here, the beneficiary address is the same for all of them. So we're going to open this page, and we get the address, so we can copy it. Then we're going to head to Subscan and then go to Tools and then Account, Format, Transform. We paste the address in there, press Transform, and we get this public key. So we're going to copy that. Now we can go to Polkadot.js and we can go to the chain state and then storage, and then we can go to Treasury and then spends, and then untick this option here and press the plus. And now this is a massive list of spends, and it's probably very confusing. But for example, you just Control F, you paste the address in, you can see it's picked up the address. And if we scroll up, you can see this number here, 30. This means that Treasury spend 30 is something for the Snowbridge account. And because it's 1337, I know that's USDC. And what we can do, for example, here is see it's valid from block number 260440000. And then we can look at Subsquare and click over this date, and you can see this is the same block number, right? So we're getting along the right lines, but this would probably take a while to find all the spends, and you might mess it up. So I found a way that's a bit easier. You can actually go to the timeline on the referendum, and at the bottom you can see the result. So if you click the subscan icon and then scroll down, you can see there is events here, right? So for example, this one, Treasury Asset Spend Approved, we can click on this and you see there's index 8, and then here there is index 9, and so on and so forth, right? Like index 10. And then we can do like a little sense check by clicking view all. And then because I tested this earlier, I think it's on page 3. No, it's on page 2. And we can go to the very last one, Treasury Asset Spend Approved. Open it up, and it's spend number 30, which is the one that we found before, right? So we can be fairly confident, let's say, that all of these spend IDs from, was it 8 until 30, are a result of this referendum. Now, obviously, if you're going to do this in production, do double check all of these numbers, right? I just don't want to take that time away from everybody. So for our example, we'll go with spend 30, and then we'll go down one. I'm guessing this is 20. Okay, spend 20. and spend 13. So we'll do 13, 20, and 30, right? So now we're going to fork locally, which opens a chopsticks instance of Polkadot, because then we can verify that stuff has actually happened correctly. Okay, so once you've done that, and you can kind of tell by the top bar being orange, or I think if you go here, here, local forked powered by chopsticks, right? So now we want to create the referendum to cancel those payments. It was 13, 20, and 30, right? So we can, for example, choose Alice. And we want to do a utility batch call. We'll do force batch in this case. And we want to do treasury, and then void spend, and then index 13. And then we'll add another 2 items and do the same. So treasury, void spend, 20, and then treasury, void spend, 30. So now to test that this works, we copy this encoded call data, and let me paste this into my little chat box here for future reference. And then there is a nice guide from OpenGov.watch that I will put in the description of the video. Just follow the process that they explain. So we're going to go to developer, JavaScript, close this off. You're going to paste in the nice little script that they've got. And then you want to replace, let me copy that. You want to replace this inline with the call data that you previously copied, and then change this to treasurer, and then press the play button. And then go to Explorer, and after a little bit of time, it might take like 30 seconds for the block to actually finalize in your chopsticks instance. But after a while, something should come in on this recent events under Network Explorer. Okay, so now that block has come in, and we can see some rather interesting things. So we can see one of them failed, and then some spends were voided. So let's go through exactly what happened. So I'm going to click on this number here, and it takes us into the block a bit more. So we can see that treasury asset spend voided number 30 worked. Treasury asset spend voided number 20 worked. But then, if you remember, we did number 13, and that did not work. And we get this error index 19, and the treasury spend has already been attempted, and the payment has already been attempted. So this is a good example of why force batch is the correct extrinsic to use, because even if one of them has been completed, it doesn't stop the other ones from being executed. So let's actually take a look at that in the chain state. So let's go to treasury and then spends, and then untick this, press the plus, and we'll control F13. And we can see some information about it here. And we can see that it was attempted on this ID 75. And we can see that it was valid from block number 225888000. So if we go back to the Snowbridge ref and find which one that was. So this is this block, 225888000. And this was on the 18th of September. So this has already been paid out, right? This is why, again, like I said at the beginning, double check everything, or just brute force it with force batch, and then let's double check that everything is definitely voided. So now if we check the chain state of the spends, remember that we voided spend ID number 30, and the only thing we can find is this ref, which this is a different referendum. It's not the spend index. This is the ID for the dead token, I believe, and number 20. And we'll get a lot of 20s, but I believe if we go through it, we'll never see spend ID 20 again, which means that that spend does not exist as something that needs to be done anymore. So those things have been successfully voided.